All right, guys, we got to talk about this. This right here is an eye-opener, to say the least. So the state of Texas is making a list of transgender Americans that live in their state. It's using driver's licenses to help. So they're making a list of trans people. Yeah, literally nothing good can come from that. Nothing. The state of Texas has continued collecting information on trans drivers seeking to change the sex listed on their license, creating a list of more than 100 people in 1 year. By the way, the original plan was to make it so this is considered fraud and it's a crime and you go to prison. They wanted this to be a felony. They wanted it to be a felony for you to be trans and try to get your license updated to reflect your gender. That was the original plan. So that didn't get through, but now they're like, let's plan just in case, right? Let's plan in case we could get that shit through. Let's keep a list of the trans people. According to internal documents the Texas newsroom obtained through records requests, the Texas Department of Public Safety has amassed a list of 110 people who tried to update their gender between August 2024 and August 2025. Employees with driver's license offices across the state, from El Paso to Paris to Plano, reported the names and license numbers of these people to a special agency email account. Identifying information was redacted from the records released to the Texas newsroom. The data was collected after Texas stopped allowing drivers to update the gender on their licenses unless it was to fix a clerical error. It is unclear what the state is doing with this information. An agency spokesperson did not respond to questions about why the list was created and whether it was shared with any other agencies or state officials. The Texas newsroom filed records requests in an attempt to find the answers, but did not receive any additional information that sheds light on what the state may be doing with these names. In recent years, GOP lawmakers have passed multiple laws restricting the rights of trans Texans, including 2 new measures that went into effect this year. One defines male and female on state documents as being based on a person's reproductive system. The other, known as the bathroom bill, bars governments from allowing people to use a restroom at public buildings, parks, or libraries that do not match their sex at birth. While it's unclear how the state plans to enforce the bathroom bill, transgender activist Rai Vasquez told KUT News she was also asked to show her ID before using a restroom in the state capitol earlier this month. Vasquez said she and 3 other people were then cited with criminal trespassing and banned from the building for a year. Now, by the way, what I would ask conservatives is, what if somebody is 100% passing, right? So it's a trans woman who looks completely like they were born a woman. What about that? Like, you want that person going into the men's bathroom? And what about if they're passing in the other direction? So you want a trans man who's 100% passing, full-ass beard, jacked, tall, like masculine-looking bone structure and shit. You want that person, because they were born a woman, you want that man to go into a women's restroom? I mean, that would cause more problems, right? Am I wrong? Wouldn't that cause more problems? So that's just crazy to me. The other thing is, again, why are they keeping this list? Nothing good can come from this. And what's terrifying is, so we're now looking at a world where they have the technology, they have the ability, they could just say, now you can't open a bank account if you're trans. Like, official state repression could happen. Like, you're not allowed to open a bank account. This is going to be held against you in fucking job interviews. This is kept on your permanent record. It's held against you in job interviews. You can't get a job. There's so many ways they could take this and fuck you over. Never mind, of course, the ultimate nightmare scenario, which is they just round up the trans people and lock them up, right? And Lord knows what else. But it can be used for official state repression. Put you on a list. Now you can't get the treatment that you need from your doctor, and there's a list of people that makes it against the law. Hey, you can't give these people gender-affirming care, right? All the things that they could do are fucking horrifying. Horrifying. Landon Ritchie, the policy coordinator with the Transgender Education Network of Texas, is concerned that the list the state is keeping will be used to pass more state laws targeting the rights of trans Texans. The state collecting this information raised a lot of red flags, and not just in terms of people's privacy and ability to exist not under a magnifying glass, he said. He added that he wonders how this information will be leveraged in terms of drafting and crafting additional legislation to chip away at the civil rights and freedoms of trans Texans. Now, by the way, look, I don't have the numbers in front of me. I don't know them off the top of my head, but I wonder what Texas ranks in education in the country. I wonder what Texas ranks in terms of healthcare access. I wonder what Texas ranks in terms of quality of life. I wonder what it ranks in terms of infrastructure. I wonder all the things that Texas legislators should be focusing on. Instead, They're literally officially scapegoating trans people and trying to find creative ways of doing that. This is where Republican politics always leads, always. Because what are right-wing politics? MAGA politics, right-wing politics, it's based on otherizing minority groups. Black people are the problem, trans people are the problem, immigrants are the problem. You know, they always have a way, okay, these groups are the Muslims are the problem, whatever it may be. But that is all an attempt to distract you from the reality. And the reality is, it's the billionaires. It's the billionaires and the fascists and the warmongers. They're the reason your life sucks. Point out a problem, and I will tell you how it connects to one of those three. Guaranteed, bro. Guaranteed. And this is what they do. This is what they spend their time doing. Not fixing any of the real problems, creating more problems for an innocent minority community. There are roughly 161,000 trans adults living in Texas, or less than 1% of the population, according to the Williams Institute at the UCLA Law School. 161,000. That's a lot, though. I mean, those people are going to be crushed under the boot of the state. For years, trans people in Texas could update their state IDs to match their gender identity by obtaining a court order and then submitting this document to state agencies that issue driver's licenses and birth certificates. Yeah, there's another word for that. There used to be freedom. You know, Texas, the state that likes to suck themselves off for being so pro-freedom, apparently they're the most anti-freedom. Like, this is just a basic thing, right? Like, hey, if you want your gender identity to be this, it can be this. No, they're against freedom. They're totally against freedom. After the state restricted updates to driver's licenses last fall, the state's health agency followed suit, blocking changes to birth certificates other than to correct hospital errors or omissions. In March, the Texas Newsroom reported that the state was collecting information on people who continued to ask for these changes despite the policy shift. Jesus Christ. The Attorney General, whose office determines what records are public, allowed the agency to keep other documents about the policy shift secret. But it did release a list of the 4 employees with access to the special email account. The Texas Newsroom also obtained records that show the agency investigated threats against the driver's license division chief after news of the policy change was made public, but no case was referred to the Travis County Attorney's Office for prosecution. The Texas Newsroom has requested an updated version of that list. So, man, this is terrifying. And by the way, this is the canary in the coal mine, right? If Texas does this and gets away with it legally, well, then other red states are going to do this. And there will come a point where it just is illegal to be trans in red states. It'll just be illegal to be trans in red states. You won't be able to express your true gender identity. It'll be a criminal offense in the same way that Texas tried to make it a criminal offense. You know, Texas tried to make it so it is a felony to change your gender on your driver's license. And now, if you do it, they put you on a list. And like I said, that could be used for housing discrimination, that could be used for job discrimination, that could be used for preventing your access to healthcare that you desperately need. It could be used for a number of things. You know, it's like a list of undesirables or untouchables. It's like a caste system. It's like a new caste system. In the same way that they're trying to do that with immigrants, undocumented immigrants, they're trying to do a similar version here with trans people. And again, it's also these Republicans can get away with continuing to cut taxes for billionaires, right? Like, that's the whole point. Continue to cut taxes for billionaires, continue to super serve rich people. In this culture war, that's their only trick. Get you to point the finger at some other group that's innocent, another group that has no money and no power and is not affecting your life negatively, so they continue to affect your life negatively. It is really disgusting. And what we need is, I don't want to hear a single fucking word. Like Gavin Newsom, who was more than willing to throw trans people under the bus in the wake of Trump getting back in the White House. I don't want to hear it from any Democratic candidate who's willing to sacrifice trans people at the altar of some mythical crossover Trump voter. Get the fuck out of here. If you're on the left, if you're a liberal or a leftist, you got to stand on principle. No, we're going to defend trans people because it's the right thing to do to defend them. They didn't do anything fucking wrong. They didn't do anything wrong. They're just trying to live their best life. And now the state is trying to prevent them from doing that. So, no. Fuck off. First of all, what we're arguing for, it doesn't even poll badly. But even if it did, I would still stand 10 toes down and try to change people's minds in the same way that we engaged in the battle to change people's minds on gay folks, right? We had said, no, hey, they're just like everybody else. They just happen to be attracted to people of the same sex. Like, who cares? It's not a big deal. Give them equal rights. In the same way we fought that battle and eventually made it popular, we will fight this battle and make this popular. We will make it acceptable to be trans. It won't be a fucking scarlet letter. And so fuck any Democratic candidate who's willing to throw them under the bus. No, you go fuck yourself. We have no interest in you. We're going to have a leader that defends minority communities and reframes everything in the correct way, which is to say, these minority groups aren't the problem. The only minority destroying the country are the billionaires. That's it. That's what we come back to. And all these trans people in red states, be on high alert. And I know it's a tough thing to do, but try to be ready at any given moment to flee to a blue state, because at least you know in the blue states, they'll try to protect your rights and they'll try to protect your access to healthcare. Whereas in the red states, there are no fucking promises, and it's quickly degrading there.
Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.